Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to episode 116 of the DISUNOMICS podcast. This week, we are talking about what happened this week. We have a new Prime Minister in town, Boris Johnson. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about what he's done in terms of his cabinet moves and what the cabinet is and all that type of stuff. Talk a little bit about the Labour Party as well. And speaking of the Labour Party, we have a special guest. Do you want to announce yourself to the streets?
Hi, I'm Jen.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
I really don't. Yeah, hi, I'm Jen.
Jen who?
Oh, I'm Jen Davis and I'm a Labour Party member.
Okay. So how long have you been a Labour Party member for?
7 years?
7 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been in the streets for 7 years?
Yeah.
Okay, what made you join the Labour Party?
It was just after the 2010 general election actually that I joined.
So Cameron.
Yeah. And obviously Lib Dems and
Lib Dems ran off on the plug.
Yeah. So they joined.
They pulled a fast one on the streets,
basically.
Yeah.
And then I remember like when they were doing their campaign, they were like, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna cut the fees, etc.
Slash the tuition fees.
And then when they went to
tuition fees tripled.
When they came with Conservatives, it tripled. I was like,
pew, pew, pew.
Nah. Then obviously they slashed EMA as well, and I was just like, yeah, no. So I was like, do you know what? Let me join the Labour Party, so I can. So when there's another general election, I could like help them campaign and stuff, and that's why I joined. Did
you have an interest in politics prior to
that? Yeah, kind of.
Okay, but it was solidified after that debacle.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely. And then obviously 2015 general election came and I was really active in my constituency when it came to campaigning, etc. So yeah.
Okay, and you're still knee deep in the streets as of right now?
And what?
You're still knee deep in the Labour Party streets?
Yeah. Kind of. Do you know what? I left the Labour Party for like a while. I took a step back for a while and then I came back.
Why did you take a step back?
It's just too much. Like the bickering between like both factions, I just can't do it.
So what are the factions?
So there's the centre and then there's the left.
Okay, what others? We're educating the streets. So what's the centre? What's the left?
So the centre is like the kind of like Tony Blair. So people call them the Blairites, but I don't like calling them that because it's kind of used as a diss.
Oh, okay.
So it's like people that are more centre leaning on the left spectrum, and then the left is like Momentum and people that are on the left of the spectrum, like the proper left of the spectrum. So yeah, there's been.
Give us like maybe like one like area where give us like a centre view and a left view, for example.
On the policy?
Yeah.
Okay, so for instance, there are certain people within the Labour Party.
Yes.
Who think that the NHS should be privatised.
Okay.
But then there are other people in the Labour Party who don't, who feel like, you know, we should leave it as how it was when it was formed.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So the ones who want it maybe to be privatised are centre?
Yeah, centre.
And then on the left?
Yeah, so not all of it, but certain aspects of it to be privatised. And then there's certain people who don't want it to be privatised. So, yeah. Okay, that's literally our policy.
Okay, cool. So you are somebody who is aware of what goes on in Parliament and aware about. So speaking of Parliament, those listening to my last episode 2 weeks ago, I discussed the election. That is a leadership election for Conservative Party because obviously Theresa May, she's finally out of here. So she stepped down officially. What day was it? Was it Wednesday? What day was it? Whatever day she stepped down, she's out of here. And there was a leadership election and it whittled down to two contestants, Jeremy Hunt and Boris Johnson. Quick question, who do you prefer out of the two?
Neither of them. But if we were to, if I had to choose, it would probably be Jeremy Hunt.
Okay, cool. You want to detail why or?
I just don't like Boris.
Yeah, facts.
And I just feel like he's gotten away with so many things dating back to 1988. Like, why?
That's before I was born.
You know what I mean? He's been getting away
this year.
He's getting away with all of these things, and I'm just like
3 decades of of tomfoolery.
Like he just lies. He just with the expenses, with parliamentary expenses, he uses them in ways he shouldn't, and they pull him up on it, but they don't kind of get rid of him. Like, nah, I just don't like him, and I just feel we can't have someone we can't have someone who's a prime minister that lies a lot, because he can tell us that, oh, he's going to do one thing and then he won't actually do it. Yeah. So I'm just like,
Yeah, I feel you on that. Okay, so the election results were announced early this week, and Boris Johnson won resoundingly. 92,000 votes come to Jeremy Hunt's was like 47 if you round it up. So almost double his votes. Yeah. A resounding victory. There was 160,000 people involved in the process. That's the Conservative Party members. I had a big people argue with me because I like essentially like 0.14% of the country has decided who the next prime minister is. And people are like, you don't even know how politics. I know how politics work. I disagree with the ethos that just because if a leader sets out, I personally think we should have a general election.
I do too.
Yeah, well, we discuss that later if we get around to it. So Boris is in town. So when you saw it come through, how did you feel?
I wasn't shocked. Yeah. I was just a bit like, oh man, like I just had that little bit of hope that Jeremy Hunt was
going to win. That sliver of hope. I knew it was a bit tight still.
Yeah, but the thing is, from some of my Conservative colleagues, they've been like, people had already started voting before they actually started doing their live debates, which is why Boris would have gotten more votes. So it didn't actually start when they started doing the live debates. They had distributed postal voting
from
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, the live debate, he was looking kind of rough in the streets, but he's a donor. I really hate when people say, trust me, Boris is playing up. He's really an evil genius.
No, but I've actually heard that.
I don't believe it.
People say that he's really, really smart, but he tries to play dumb because he wants to be likable. I don't know why he wants to do that, but yeah.
I don't believe that.
So
I don't believe that. You've shown no sign of attention in 30 years, so I'm not sure about that. Otherwise, you shouldn't even be in Parliament. You need to be in Hollywood if you can act like that.
Okay, well, not even Hollywood. In
Hollywood. So we got Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister. So some key things. He was a peak Leave campaigner.
Yeah.
He quit Theresa May's cabinet over the Brexit deal that he approved. Obviously from Eton FC. Brexiteer who loves an immigration debate. What else? He was born in America, actually. Not many people know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, he was born in America.
And he's a racist. So.
Yeah, it's mad. Then the Chancellor, people may know him, Sajid Javid. He's Eurosceptic. He was very, very successful at Deutsche Bank. And according to my boy David Bell, he knows quite a lot about macroeconomics, so he thinks he was going to be a good chancellor. But a lot of people don't like him for some of the things he said. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but do you know what? I feel like when it comes to what people, you may not like someone for what they said, but if they're good for the job, you have to respect that.
Yeah, so that's a stance. That's a stance I had. Dominic Raab. He's foreign secretary. He's another Leave campaigner. He did help negotiate part of the Brexit deal. He proper loves Brexit, and not a feminist. I got written down here. I don't know why I wrote that down. Maybe he said some peak things about feminism.
No, I think he did say something like that, and there was like a big hoo-ha in the news about it. Like, oh, how can you say you're not a feminist? Blah blah blah.
I'll shout at him then. And finally, the person I want to talk about is Priti Patel as Home Secretary, which to me doesn't make any sense. And for people thinking, why does this not make sense? She quit in November 2017 after it emerged that she held a series of unofficial meetings in Israel with high-ranking officials and stuff. So it weren't like scheduled meetings. She was like, yo, out here on a holiday, boomerang with cocktails, just chilling. But really, she was meeting hella man. Like,
I remember that time as well.
Yeah, I remember that time clearly.
And then had her flight showing and people actually waiting for her to land. That was super funny.
Yeah, so she held 12 separate meetings, which is a bit nuts. And obviously she was disgraced, she had to dip, but here she is, back in town. Also, in terms of like her credentials and why I'm not too fond of this hire, she has voted for stricter asylum seeking system, stronger enforcement of immigration rules, and she was against banning the detention of pregnant women in immigration jails, which is just nuts when you think about it. She backed key proponents of Theresa May's hostile environment policies, and presented in the immigration bills of 2014 and 2016, such as rent, work, and bank account checks, which all led members of the Windrush generation being wrongfully told they had no lawful right to live in the UK. So she's up. And you were telling me about she has some capital punishment.
Yeah, so she feels like bringing back capital punishment will be a good deterrent for people. But we already know, we see in America that majority of people who are put on death row and stuff like that, they are black.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they brought that here, it will be our people.
Yeah.
Mostly. And I just don't agree with that. And I just feel like, the prison system is not for that. It's meant to rehabilitate people, and we don't actually do that.
We don't rehabilitate or reform. We just everyone wants to focus on retribution. Another thing about death penalty, it's not a deterrent. Because if you look at, like, for example, state of California, they have death penalty. Mm-hmm. If you look at their murder rates, California's population is considerably smaller than, not California, Los Angeles population is smaller than the United Kingdom's, but they have way more murders. So death penalty, like when you look at crime and poverty, we're going a bit off topic here, but crime has a very strong link to poverty. So if people are in poverty and low income backgrounds and low opportunities, it's going to breed violence and crime. And put in whatever type of penalty you want, it's going to do pretty limited things to stop that. You have to look at the causes that leads people to be in these environments in the first place, really and truly. But
that's true. But I just wanted, there was something that you picked up on about how her voting credentials. One thing I want to say is that in Parliament, they have a whipping system, right?
Whip. Okay, tell us about the whip.
So the whipping system, there's like a 1-line whip, a 2-line whip, and a 3-line whip. A 3-line whip means you must vote
this way of versus P.
Yeah, must vote the way of your party. Sometimes people, it's in recent times, more people have been going against the whip. But back in the days, they wouldn't do it. And the reason why they didn't do it is because if they vote in line with their party, it means that, they get a career boost in terms of they can end up being ministers, shadow ministers, party chairman, women, etc. Which is why people always, even if they don't actually believe in the bill or whatever the policy is, they what they will do to kind of show that they don't agree with it is they will
abstain.
No, they won't even abstain. They will stand up in the house, and then when I say the house, I mean the House of Commons, the chamber. They will stand there and then they will just basically like voice their opinion, but then they still vote in favour of it or against it, whatever their party line is. So I just wanted to clarify that because I know like a lot of people get frustrated when they see their MP doing stuff, but this is how the whipping system works.
Yeah, and as I always say in DISUNOMICS, almost every episode, that incentive drives behaviour. So number one incentive, if you're an MP, it's still a career. Man ain't doing this for free. Like, it's still a career. Like, you're on a bank bench one day, you want to be in that front bench talking smack as well in PMQs. You know what I mean? So you're going to have to toe the party line because if you're out here causing trouble, you're just misbehaving. Nobody's going to bust you. Like, they ain't loyal. You won't with me shooting in the gym. So that's a... Whoa. Featuring young folks trying to play in the podcast. But, okay, so what is the current, like, feeling in the Labour Party? So I'm pretty sure quite a significant portion of my listeners are Labour voters are more left-leaning, so Labour or maybe Lib Dem or definitely thinking of one of the two parties. So what would you say the thinking is right now?
Well, I know everyone's a bit sad.
Why? Why are they sad?
Because it's Boris Johnson. Like, he's racist rhetoric. Like,
he's,
for like he's just a liar. Some of the things that he's voted for and against. Even it's just his behaviour in general. So they're a bit sad, but obviously they're calling for a general election. And as you said, you don't agree with when the Conservative or whatever party when they have a new leader, they should who's going to be the Prime Minister, we should definitely have a general election. That is literally our party line. Like, we want a general election, etc. But then there are some skeptics that are like, okay, if we have a general election, we're not going to win, or we're going to lose a lot of seats. So I don't know if you've seen, there have been a number of Labour MPs that have said they're not standing again in the next general election because the reason why some of them are doing that is because they've had enough. They either don't like Jeremy, or they just feel like they're not going to win their seat again. So
do you know? Okay, so I'm not sure how much light you can shed on this car because obviously you're gang, but what are like the main reasons why some people in the party don't like Jeremy? Obviously, you don't have to talk about somebody specifically. You can't be like, oh yeah, why somebody said Jeremy's a pagan. Like, what are the main themes for disliking Jeremy?
Basically, they don't like that he's moved the Labour Party really left.
Okay,
but
so it's mainly ideological.
Yeah, but then my thing is, that's how the Labour Party started. We were really left. So for you now to come and obviously Tony Blair moved it more centre, which is why we won the general election in 1997. But people don't like that. But then I feel like with Jeremy, he kind of brings a new, like with his politics, it's more about peace. And about collectivism and us doing things together. And some people don't like that. Some people in the Labour Party actually want us to be individualistic and do our own thing and whatever. So that is why.
Okay, so that's the main thing.
So that for me, that's what I think the main thing is. Because when they, the 2017 general election, with the manifesto, a lot of people liked it. Even people that were centre-leaning. So
and Labour did way better than expected. Mm-hmm. So what's the big wahala now?
I don't know, but people just don't like Jeremy in general. And then on top of that, when he was a backbencher, he was a rebel. Him, Diana, and John McDonnell, they always used to kind of like go against the party line. So people just don't like that. Okay. And then also, obviously, the whole issue with anti-Semitism and the handling of that's just made it even worse. So
okay, cool. So Jeremy's not popping in the streets. Yeah. So what was he talking about earlier today? You're looking at a briefing of some sort.
Oh yeah, it's just a briefing on what do you call it? Our general election. If we have a general election, what we would and we won, what we would put in place in terms of policies.
Okay, so do you want to run them by me and I'll be the
oh my god
the critique.
Okay, cool. So some of the stuff that let me just because obviously it got sent out today, so I'm just gonna go up. So, obviously, the main issue right now is Brexit. Yeah. So, obviously, we've said that, we respect the referendum result. However, if it's in a case of no deal or a bad Tory deal, we're gonna want the deal to go to the public and then we're gonna vote to remain. So, that's literally our policy on Brexit. You don't like that? I can see in your face. You're like,
well, that sounds a bit nuts because how can you put I want to know the logic of the implementation of how you put a deal to the public, like the public Irish backstop, all these type of things. Let's keep it short. A bit too technical for the average person. So what do you do? Do you like this deal? Yay or no? Like is that what it's going to be?
So what they're thinking is having do you like deal? Yeah or no? No. Do you want so? Oh, there's so many variations, but the one that I can remember, and I think this is the most recent one, is having the Tory deal or Remain. So that's what they wanted to have on the ballot. And then obviously we've said if people vote for the deal, then we're going to respect it. Yeah, we're going to respect it.
That's a bit of a because everybody knows the deal's hickey. So you're kind of tipping the balance in the favour of Remain.
Yeah, but then at the same time, I just feel like, do you know what? If
they ain't gonna get another deal anyway.
If the shoe was on the other foot, so say like the Remainers won, imagine the Leavers were doing what we're doing. It would be a bit mad. Yeah. And I feel like it's democracy. Yeah. The electoral system that we have, this is what it is. So if the majority has voted to leave, then we have to respect that. Yeah, we don't like the deal, but if that's what they're offering, then it's true. We have to accept it.
It's true. And to be fair to the people, like they did vote, slyly voting Theresa May. Just about. Anyway, moving on. Next one.
So there's that. Obviously, they want to bring utilities back to public ownership. So things like rail services and also gas, electric, water, all of that. They want to bring it back in-house because, the prices keep rising and those who are from a working class background are hit the most in terms of costs. So that's what they want, but they haven't said how.
Yeah, obviously I understand the ethos because obviously
they're going to do it.
Like, it's very, very expensive. Prices going up and the wages ain't going up to match it whatsoever. But at the same time, to actually acquire privately owned businesses is going to cost a hell of a lot of money. And also I have the ethos of why should you own my business. Like, why?
Yeah, no, I get it.
But I understand the thought behind it, but I'm against that. But go on, anyway, next one.
Yeah, and then obviously, they want to have a real living wage of £10 per hour. For in 2020, obviously that's next year, but we might not have a general election. So, but they want to do that without increasing income tax or national insurance for 95% of people. So that's one of their other policies. And also they want to increase funding for NHS so we can have more doctors and more nurses. You think it's a waste of time?
Waste of time. NHS system is an absolute mess.
Yeah, I really feel like they need to fix it.
Yeah, it's a waste of time. They're throwing money into a black hole. But people can check out, I think it's episode 14 and episode 40. Because I was having an NHS debate today. So me and my boy, Dr. Lee, we discussed this in detail. So people are thinking, this is what we're talking about. You can check out there. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. They also want to introduce free school meals for all primary school kids. And then they want smaller classes for 5, 6 and 7-year-olds. I feel like that should go even further. I feel like we should have smaller classes for up until you're 16. From primary school to secondary school. That's what I think. I know it's difficult.
It's the logistics of it.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like we need to do that.
If they can make that logistically possible, and I'm definitely for free school meals, 100%.
So, and then obviously for older people, they want to keep the TV licensing, free TV licensing, winter fuel, and bus passes.
You've been paying your dues for years. Like,
but but there's like I've been getting lots of campaign emails from old age pensioners, and they're just like, there's TV licensing is they're trying to take the free TV licensing away from people over the age of 75. So did you know that?
No.
Yeah, so that's one of the campaigns that's happening at the moment.
They need to allow it. They've been paying tax for years.
Yeah, exactly. So
they don't even work.
Like, but this is what the Conservative government are trying to do. But
pagans.
But obviously we're just like, nah, like,
No, so we make too much money to not have some like humanitarian things.
For especially old people, especially when they've paid their taxes and they've worked so many.
Like, come on, what's going on?
And they're even 75. It's not even from like 65, I'm 75. So
come on. We've got like 3 years left anyway, so might as well bust them.
So that's literally our main policies. And then obviously there's a lot of stuff about Boris Johnson. So
well, you can't share?
Nah.
Okay, you can't give us a gist. Okay, cool.
Something that I have to just keep quiet about.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, these policies sound a lot less radical than the ones in 2017. I remember the 2017, I think I voted for Lib Dems because I was like, I ain't not voting for Corbyn.
Would you vote for them now? Lib Dems?
Do you know what, yeah? I can't say that because I'm a manifesto person, innit? So
okay, fair enough.
Once you see the manifestos, actually, there's actually no way I'll vote for Boris Johnson. That's just off the board. It's very, very unlikely I'll probably in my lifetime ever vote for Conservatives because I really dislike their immigration and their foreign policy. I'm not a fan of those. They're better. They have better economic policies, but only just. And they're austerity merchants, which I'm not a fan of. But I'll have to see Labour's policies in comparison to the Liberal Democrats before I make up my mind still. Okay, cool. So we have some time to talk about FTP and proportional representation. So what is FTP?
So the first past the post system. Basically, it's
I definitely said the acronym wrong. I said 3 letters.
FTP.
No.
First past the post. FPTP. That's
we're moving hella mad.
Yeah, FPTP. Yeah. So basically, it's the candidate with the most
more votes than anyone else.
Yeah, most votes than anyone else wins. So, but the thing is, say like they win. They have like 39% of the votes and they could win, and then say like another party has like 20% of the votes, and then someone else has another amount. That means they win.
Yeah.
Okay. No, sorry, my maths is so wrong. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So basically, essentially, if there's enough parties, you can have situations where let's say me, you, and 5 other men and women have we all have our parties in it, and then DISUNOMICS parties win. I only got 18% of the vote. You got 16. Next man got 6. Shorty got 5. 72%, 78. No, what's my maths? 72. Well, I'm moving mad.
Yeah, both of us are moving.
Yeah, like the vast majority of the constituency didn't vote for me.
Exactly.
But I'm in charge.
Yeah, basically.
And to me, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So obviously, not everybody can be represented. Like obviously, if you're the only person that voted for the party, boy, I'm sorry, you have to affirm it, my G, for 4 years. your party didn't win. It's life. It's democracy. But I don't think that's very democratic.
Yeah, however, it's not democratic. But the thing is, I always say to people is join a political party.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people complain about the MPs that we have or and then if you want to pick your candidate, you need to be a member of a party because then you have a say on what type of candidate
I
goes
can't
up
even
in
lie to you.
constituency.
This is kind of off topic, but I feel like the public take the piss here because one, you don't even know enough about your MP. You don't even know, you don't even try to use your MP because I've had people write to MPs and the MPs have been very helpful. So you don't even go to local council meetings or see what your MP is actually doing. You don't really have that much information. You're just like, I don't like him, he's Tory or do you know what I mean?
Basically, yeah.
Or he's red. Do you know what I mean? So another thing I don't like is that we talk about politicians are not honest, yeah? But I don't believe, but we need to also take accountability as voters, yeah? We're not ready for honesty. So let's say, for example, yeah, so one of the issues in the UK currently is that when you look at wages, the high wages are in London, Slough and Reading, yeah? In those regions. And it's very, very difficult to get higher or similar wages anywhere else in the country. They've tried all types of initiatives, they all failed. Economists don't know how to solve this, yeah? As a let's say I'm standing against Boris Johnson, yeah, in 2020, yeah? Can't be like, hey, yo, basically you, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm in Middlesbrough. I'll keep it real with you, Chief. We don't know how to fix this. Like your wages, I don't know. We don't know how to make your wages the same as people in London, give you the same opportunities. But we're gonna work on it. We're gonna work digitally. People will think I'm incompetent when you admit that you can't do something or it's not gonna be done in a time frame that is maybe as soon as possible. Voters won't vote for you. That's why politicians lie. That's why they sell. That's why they have gimmick policies and all type of things because you can't say to somebody, yeah, we've got a knife crime problem, but guess what? It's not going to be solved overnight. It's going to take us maybe a decade.
Yeah.
People ain't trying to hear that shit.
No,
they want to hear
we're going to do
more
it
police,
now. Yeah.
more police in the streets, stop and search, tougher sentences. This will stamp out knife crime. And then you do one or two things in terms of how the police report data, and all of a sudden it looks like you've done bits, but you haven't done bits. Do you know what I mean? So we need to be engaged in the political process and be realistic, one. And also, if you're not engaged in the political process, you're not holding people accountable. What do you expect?
It's true. And the thing is, all the information's out there. If, there's a website called They Work For You.
Yeah, that's the website.
Like, that website literally tells you how your MP votes. It tells you what your MP has said in the chamber. It tells you what written questions that they've put to the government. So that's the way you can track them. Obviously, they also have it on the Hansard on the official parliamentary website as well. But I feel like They Work For You is much easier to read and people will understand it better. So there's ways for them to actually get involved and know what their MPs are doing. But I just feel like sometimes we're lazy. We don't want to do that.
But I think what your party did quite well, yeah, in the last election was mobilising young voters. So why using social media? Because we didn't see that much from Tories. I think the youth vote is tends to be like 70% Labour. Then we look at ethnic minorities, it goes like that's another 80%. So you dominate that. And obviously that's why a lot of people were like, Labour did better on the polls. Yeah, because polls don't take into account people that voted for the first time. So Labour were able to get people from the 16 to 20, what's the voting age? I think it's 18. 18 to 24 range to come out and actually register the vote and actually vote. So Labour showed an ability to engage the people in that run. So I don't know why more parties aren't trying to essentially campaign to younger people or just people in general all year round.
I think some people are trying to do it, but I feel like it's forced. So the Conservatives, they had this I forgot what the name of the this campaign group that they had with like young people, and then they had like this token mixed girl in there. And do you know, I think it was called Centrepoint UK.
I can't remember that.
So it was recent, I think it was like a few months ago. So obviously they had this like campaign to try and, mobilise young Conservatives and stuff like that. So, but I just felt like it was forced.
Yeah, it's forced.
So,
I am, I work in finance and I'm contracted at an arm's length body of the government. And I'm seeing in this body what they're doing, and I've seen like how they want to present what the part of the education system they're in and how they promote it and market it. I'm thinking, why would I do this as a young person? You're so like, if you see the promotional video, it was awful. Like it was like, yeah, young people, youth, a bit of like grime music. Like it's awful. But so I really think that a lot of parties are missing a trick in actually getting people that can actually relate to people on the ground, because I don't know who's in these organizations and who's creating these media campaigns. It's just poor.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's missing a trick of engaging, especially on social media. So I think Labour could still make moves in the next election. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, I think we could as well. But I just feel like, you know, with the mood of the whole anti-Semitism stuff, I feel like, you know, it's really it's damaging the party.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people saying that, you know, racism started under Jeremy Corbyn, but that's a lie. There's always been racism in the Labour Party. Like, if you look at the structures, the people in the CLPs, so that's the constituency Labour Party, so that's like your local area. Majority of the people in positions are always white and stuff like that. And, you know, if ethnic minority people try to get involved, they kind of just give them the ethnic minority job. So the job that there's, you know, that is based on their race. So I feel like it's always been there, but I feel like it's wrong to say that Jeremy, you know, started anti-Semitism or anti-Semitism started
I think that's a bait-faced campaign.
I just feel like it may have increased, or we see it more under him. However, it hasn't started with him, and I just think that it's unfair to tarnish his name. And obviously, it's a party thing. If we're gonna criticize Jeremy, let's criticize the members as well, because Jeremy's not telling people, "Oh, go and do this, go and do that." It's the members themselves. So if we're gonna criticize Labour, let's criticize the members and the people that are actually on the ground, because it's really them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. But obviously, this is the perils of leadership.
Yeah, right, fair enough. Yeah, I know.
It's wrong, but it's the fun that when things go right and other people are mashing work, he's gonna get all the accolades. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Like, it's like CEO, like, everybody in the company is doing mad things. It's good, but when things go tits up, it's you that's going down. Even I remember when Gordon Brown was in, he was having a torrid time. And I think like some civil servants lost, like, this is when we were using CD discs for data. They lost data and it had loads of details about people's children and stuff. They were like, this shows how incompetent a Gordon Brown thing. It's like, fam, this is civil service. What do you want Gordon Brown to be coming to the house? Oh yeah, make sure you post this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But obviously that's leadership and stuff. That's leadership. So I feel like we could have done stuff sooner, but you know.
I think also in terms of election, after last election, because I can't lie, I'm not a Jeremy Corbyn fan, and people know that I'm not. I was really, really sad, because like with Brexit now, the Tories are gonna botch Brexit. Like I knew that was guaranteed. That's the only reason why I voted Remain. I'm not a fan of the EU. I think it's a failed political project. But I knew for a fact we were not going to negotiate a good deal. We're not in a position of power, and we did not prepare for it. And also the person in power, he skedaddled. He's like, laters, I'm gone. Yeah. Camera's like, safe. You man.
That was the wrong move.
Yeah, you man, hold tight in it. So I always knew it was going to be a disaster. So I was like, the Tories are going to absolutely botch Brexit, and that's going to give Labour an in. But anti-Semitism kind of like equalised that. So flipping Brexit is 3 years and going. Like what, last month? 3-year anniversary. Man, I'm still talking about October. We see how that happens. But yeah, so I feel like Labour kind of lost some momentum, and the anti-Semitism, although I do believe it's a massive, I'm not his greatest fan, policy-wise. Person-wise, I'm a big fan of Corbyn. Policy-wise, I don't really like it. But to me, it's a bait-faced smear campaign against him.
Yeah.
Like, it's really bad, but I don't know, we'll see.
But this is what happens when you try to change the direction of the party.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's true.
I'm a fan of Corbyn, so I like him. I just think he's a principled man, and I think that's what we need in politics, because politics...
He's like one of the only ones, though.
Yeah, he is. But I feel like, you know, he's now doing a lot of stuff to get... Well, not doing a lot of stuff, but a lot of people are looking at him and wanting to become MPs because they feel like, oh, he's a principled man. I could maybe be like him rather than someone like Boris Johnson.
I was seeing people who had no interest in politics talk about politics because of Corbyn.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's nice.
That is powerful. Although they were talking jazz... hella jazz, but I still respect it.
Yeah, it's true.
We're roughly running out of time. But
okay,
so if you want to get involved in the Labour Party, for example, or politics, what type of places you recommend for them to go?
So, in general, if you're interested in politics, the first thing I think you should do is get involved in so whatever political party you vote for, join their party.
So I want to join the Brexit party. So where do I go?
So you can go online, just type in the Brexit party, join. I think you obviously have to pay. You have to pay a fee for every political party, and then just get involved in there, because that's where you have a say on the sort of policies that they put forth. You can also vote for your council candidates, assembly candidates, London Assembly candidates, or if you're not from London, then if you have if you have a mayor and assembly members in those areas, you can vote for them as well. You can vote for your the Westminister candidates as well. So I think it's important. If you don't like your candidates and stuff, that's another way to get in. Also, there's like loads of websites where you can find out what's going on in politics. I think there's one called Simple Politics.
Yeah.
They have a website, and they're also on Twitter. I think on Twitter it's called Easy Politics UK or something. But I will give you, I don't know if you've got it, but I'll send you the link so you can send it to your listeners. Also, just the political party website as well. They literally have like what their policies are and information about what's going on. And then the Parliament website as well. So that's a good website, and theyworkforyou.com.
Okay. Also, if you know me watching this on YouTube or guess by your voice, you are a black woman. Is there anything specific to like any groups, maybe the Labour Party or just some parties in general, for black women in politics?
So within the Labour group, we have the BAME Labour, but that's for women and men, and it's Black, Asian, minority, ethnic. So anyone that identifies in one of those groups. There's nothing specifically for black women.
That means you should start one up.
Do you know what? It's a lot. And I say it's a lot because there's kind of like a divide between the young black women and the older black women.
Aunties,
they have but at the same time, you kind of need them to kind of like mentor you through stuff as well. So it's quite difficult to start that up, but yeah. But then obviously other people do stuff outside of like political parties. So we've set up something. So myself, my friend Mems, who spoke on your Brexit thing, and and my friend Elon, we started something called the Black Peers Network. So it's kind of getting all the people that work in Parliament, City Hall, public affairs, and also civil service to come together and kind of, discuss things in terms of politics, and also to come and mentor young black people who want to get involved in politics.
Where can they find you? Where find it?
Twitter, blackpeers.net. No, blackpeersnet.
Okay, thank you.
So, but I will send you all the information.
Okay, so that's been us this week.
Thanks.
Make sure you like on YouTube. Follow on YouTube, DISUNOMICS. Type DISUNOMICS. There's gonna be on visually, that's mad English. On Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Jen, for joining us. And until next week, peace.
Peace. Bye.